Holding presently in the United States. We're joined in by our correspondent Jagrati Dave, who's joining us live from Washington, D.C. And Jagrati, let me begin by asking you this. Now, there are said to be these very damaging bit of information that is present in John Bolton's new book. Do we have as to what really is being said in this new book of John Bolton that would be so damaging for the president in his impeachment trial that is now in the Senate?
So the manuscript, as has been reported by the New York Times 2 days ago, effectively is where John Bolton outlines a conversation that the president had with him saying that he would like to continue withholding aid to Ukraine until the Ukrainian authorities conduct an investigation into the Democrats, including Biden. And if this is true, if this is how the manuscript is presented, and if this account in the New York Times is as John Bolton has written it, what this means it undercuts the key defence argument for the president, which is that aid, the withholding of that $391 million of aid, was not connected to his request for an investigation into the Bidens. So that is really the crux of the issue. That is what the Democrats jumped on when those revelations came out, saying that this is evidence of what they have been saying all along, that wrongdoing has happened. And as a result, John Bolton, the former national security advisor, should be brought before the Senate as a witness, a new witness, one that was not present during the House investigations.
Absolutely. Now, does this mean that John Bolton will be asked to come forth and testify in the trial that is presently underway in the Senate?
It's not guaranteed that the Democrats are going to get those 4 votes from the Republicans that they need. As you mentioned, there are 3 Republicans who have intimated that they are willing to cross party lines and vote for the appearance of witnesses because they believe that John Bolton has information that is of interest to this trial. But only yesterday, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell was saying that the Republicans do not have the votes necessary to block it, which indicated that there was real indecision amongst the Republican senators about how they were going to vote for witnesses. Some took this to mean that it meant that the Democrats were going to win, but there's other reporting that suggests that all this meant was that there were significant undecided Republicans and that it was going to take more work by senior Republican senators to convince members of their party to block a vote. And it seems that that is what they have managed to achieve. There's been a bit of pessimism from Democratic senators, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who has said they knew it was going to be an uphill fight to push for a vote on witnesses.
Absolutely, indeed. And now, this of course is speculation, provided this information that is there in John Bolton's book is admitted as evidence in this trial that is presently underway in the Senate, how much will it impact the proceedings of the Senate in the removal of Donald Trump?
Well, look, if we take the example, assume that the vote goes through and that they do call for witnesses, those Republican senators who have been open to witnesses haven't ever said publicly that they are open to convicting the president. All they want is more information that is of interest to the trial. The general sense is that whether there are witnesses, even if witnesses are called, it might not in the end impact ultimately the result of this trial, which would be an acquittal. That acquittal of the president is still expected at this stage.
Right, and how damaging is all of this in an election year for Donald Trump?
Well, that is really the interesting point. In the run-up, there have been several polls while the House investigation was going on and during the Senate trial as to how this whole investigation is going down with the general public. And it seems that in general, when you take all the polls into account, public opinion appears to be unmoved. The base that backs Donald Trump continues to back him. The Democratic base, who thinks that the president should be impeached and removed from office, continues to believe the same. So really, it's difficult to see if this whole investigation has changed public opinion enough to affect the vote when the country goes to the elections, goes to the polls in November.
Absolutely, indeed. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Jagrati Dave, for joining us and getting us all those insights. But that, of course, is a very important point where the opinion polls seem not to be very much affected because of what is happening in the Senate in these impeachment trial that is presently underway.